And turn our attention to another branch of the federal government, which is looking closely at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and her possible link to Somali involvement in Minnesota's massive fraud crimes. And right now, both the Treasury Department and a special investigations unit from the IRS actively following the money trail in those schemes and tracking down a number of large overseas cash transfers involving those diverted funds. Yeah, I'm like you. Tell me more. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the IRS crime unit has already discovered a bunch of unregulated wire transfer networks leading directly to the Middle East, Somalia as well. He also says they're working diligently to find out exactly how that money has since been used and by whom. Additionally, the Treasury Secretary now accuses Representative Omar of intentionally misleading the public by trying to downplay her role in the entire affair. He says the Congresswoman's ongoing efforts to deflect attention away from her connection to the Somali community members allegedly involved in the massive fraud schemes, really nothing more than an attempt to gaslight the American people and convince them that nothing unseemly went wrong. I think we all kind of know a little bit better. For her part, Omar says the secretary has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. While she admits to previously accepting campaign donations from people allegedly involved in the scams, she now says she sent all that money back, and that happened years ago, according to her. Additionally, Omar also claims she was one of the first members of Congress to call for an investigation into the alleged fraud taking place in her state's pandemic-era food assistance program. Furthermore, she is now urging people not to scapegoat the entire Somali community for the actions of a few wayward members, saying that most of those people are merely grateful, law-abiding U.S. citizens who have chosen to make Minnesota their home. Now, final thought, and this is the News Roundup Lowdown. Here's the way I see it. If Minnesota were a movie, it would be Dumb and Dumber with Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar taking the starring roles away from Jim Carrey and whoever that other guy was. If Madam Omar thinks she can outsmart our nation's Treasury Secretary, his entire department, the IRS, and others, then she's even more confused than the governor. The guy we were just talking about, Tim I Know Nothing Walz. This fraud seems to have taken on a life of its own, and to make things even more disgusting, Bessent is indicating that taxpayer dollars may have been funneled overseas to Somalia and elsewhere. That's your money. It's my money as well. So, tons of folks have left comments for us right here, making it abundantly clear that Omar should simply vacate her seat. And we agree. Step aside. Move forward with a special election, and all Minnesotans should demand better leadership. Unfortunately, she'll never give up that high-paying government job. But in less than about a year, Omar is up for re-election for her U.S. House seat for Minnesota's 5th District. And I say a vote for her is a vote for additional fraud, corruption, and poor representation. Do not get shortchanged. And producer Davey, to my recollection, in previous semesters, members of the House and Senate, I think they were more well-vetted. And what happened? Where did things go sour?
Well, Bill, times have certainly changed, and these days just about anyone can mount a run and win.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And bottom line is, unfortunately, she won't quit that gig. And impeachment kind of takes too long. So it's up to voters. And come November, big changes will be in store for all those folks in the land of 10K lakes, 10,000 beautiful lakes.